Hello everyone and welcome back to F1 24 for the next round of the 2023 Formula 2 season. This video should have been done a while ago, but I've had a bit of an issue with my video editing program in that it just refused to open the program when I clicked on the icon. So that was fun. That took about 2 days of mucking around to actually fix that problem. But anyway, we're ready to go once more. Everything's working as it should be, and we're all good. I actually thought I would have to start using a different video editing program, as on our qualifying lap, Victor Martins tries to get up the inside into turn 3, and I remember he's our main championship rival, so getting a bit feisty in qualifying between us. We'll hold off the Frenchman for the time being, but yeah, it's a little bit of a sign of things to come. I am struggling this round to get up to speed with this circuit, so qualifying is going to be tough. But anyway, as we head along the main straight, Martin's closing in to us once more. But anyway, let's try not to hit the wall on the straight there. That was weird. But yeah, we still keep this fight going with Victor Martins, because I do want to push on for a second lap, because that first lap was not very good at all. So if we can gain some on the second lap, we will. We are green as we head towards the end of the lap. So yeah,
We've had to spend time repairing the damage to the car.
that lap, we are ahead of Victor Martins, but no one else. So we're the only driver we are ahead of.
Okay, mate, our best lap so far, 1 minute 56.
Is the one that we're holding up throughout our lap. So yeah, no pace. We will go again at the end of the session, but yeah, it's going to be tough. But anyway, as you can see, we are sending it through that final, well not final, end of the middle sector, left-hander, one of the most awkward corners on the calendar, taking plenty of curb. But as we come to the line, we are improving actually, but it's only by a small amount. We've done a total of, well, I guess this is the 6th lap on these tyres, including in-laps and out-laps. But it's going to be P22, and another tough starting position for us here in Azerbaijan.
With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the feature race tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Well then, what do we say about that? That was a very disappointing epic qualifying. At least Kushmani's up there for once, so maybe our teammate can do some of the heavy lifting this time in this round. But yeah, tough round, tough start to the round, I should say. It remains to be seen how the rest plays out. But Ayumu Iwasa, a great pole position for him, because look at that, Victor Martins and myself both well down the order. So Victor Martins in P16 at the start of this one. So the top 2 in the championship outside of the top 10. Reverse grid pole is going to go to Jack Crawford. So that's a good effort by the American driver. Let's get into the sprint race.
So today, the sprint race, no pit stops, just full-on pace. It's all about speed, daring, and sheer driving skill. What, I wonder, is in store for us today? This is not your usual racing circuit. It provides one of the most complete tests for the field. Sector 1 sports a set of 90-degree corners around the block, if you like. Sector 2 gets even tighter with the old city walls. Sector 3 just turns 16 to negotiate, and then 2.2 kilometers, flat to the floor, full throttle, in 6th gear, all the way to the end. And we welcome you to the Formula 2 commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me for this one, Alex Brundle. It is a sprint race. It is race day. How much can you take from that one-lap pace in to our multi-lap contest today?
Well, you've got the grid reversed, giving some drivers who wouldn't normally get it the opportunity to take a win or a podium home. They're going to be looking to snatch that opportunity if at all possible.
I know you're frustrated to be this far back on the grid, but you've got to keep that under control. Keep a cool head and work your way through the field gradually as you go. It's not all going to be won or lost at the first corner.
Alrighty, thank you, Mark. So Bit of rain forecast right at the end of the... Well, actually, no, that's not even at the end of the race. I think that icon is the 90-minute mark, so the sprint race just won't go that long, full stop. So, again, teasing us with the prospect of rain, but I don't think it'll be falling unless we have about 3 red flags. Maybe we'll get that far into the weather forecast, but anyway, yeah, no strategy for this one, just the medium compound tyres to the end. So let's see how this goes. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the sprint race here in Azerbaijan, and we're getting away fairly well from the line, but I'm not going to try anything too crazy into turn 1. We're just going to let everyone sort themselves out. There's no real gain on trying to find a sneaky spot here or there this early in the race, and putting ourselves in danger of damaging that front wing or the side pods or floor or any other part of the car. We just need to survive and hope that the race somehow comes to us. If there's a safety car or a VSC, we might be able to sneak in for a pit stop, put some super softs on and make use of those. I'm not sure, but we've survived. We have a mountain to climb. Look at all those cars up the road that we'll need to work our way through. So we do need to start somewhere. We're going to have a little think about the move down the inside of Richard Verschoor there, but nothing we can really do at that point. So yeah, we just need to be patient and wait for the opportunities to come to us. But at the moment, we're just chilling out at the back of the field. The aim will be maybe to get the fastest lap and sneak into the top 10 to grab that bonus point. I think that's probably our best bet at coming away with anything in this race. If we can get that fastest lap, it makes it a little bit easier for us to come away with the points if we can just sneak into the top 10. So that's the target, as we're just hanging back off of the rear end of this train, leaving a little bit of an air gap, and yeah, that's just how we're approaching it for now as we settle into a rhythm. I know once I get into a rhythm I'll be much faster and I'll be able to attack a bit more, but at the moment I'm just making sure I keep it clean above all else. So yeah, it's a relatively uneventful first lap, but the first lap we just needed to get out of the way. Now we can settle into a rhythm. Here's a replay of the start of the front of the field. It was Jack Crawford on reverse grid pole, and the American driver does a nice job off the start to lead the way into turn 1, and it's Daruvala fighting away with Zane Maloney, who's got off the line well, and the boy from Barbados trying to take second position here up towards turn 3. Kushmani was making some moves in the background there as well, it looked like, but we'll focus on the battle for second. Looks like Daruvala is going to hold on to that one. Maloney third, Benavides in fourth. So the top 4 remaining in situ from where they were on the grid. So clean start at the front of the field. Brief scrap for second, but nothing too crazy going on there. That's crazy. That is a lot of smoke out the back of the Roy Nassani car, and the Israeli driver will not be making it to the end of this race. He pulls off the edge of the road, up the escape road I should say, at turn 3, and the race will go no further for Roy Nassani. As we carry on though, the battle further up the field begins to play out, and we're watching Jane Daruvala here, and maybe thinking about a move on Jack Crawford. Looks like Daruvala's got some good pace going at this phase of the race, and is definitely putting the pressure on Jack Crawford as they head along the eternally long main straight here in Baku. And the DRS, of course, now working for Daruvala. Daruvala goes for the move to the outside as they head into turn 1. Crawford on the inside line trying to defend, but Daruvala just seems to have the grip at the moment. Swings around the outside. They're going to keep this fight going for a bit longer though, as they continue to go side by side through turn 2 now. And if they're not careful, that could bring Benavides into the fight, because Benavides has cleared Zane Maloney. He's been on fire this season, Brad Benavides. And now it looks like Daruvala has managed to clear Jack Crawford, so Daruvala up into the race lead. The Indian driver showcasing some great pace at the moment. But for now, Let's focus now back on, or actually we'll focus on this, Benavides making that move on Zane Maloney and getting clear towards turn 1. So nice, effective, clean move there. Didn't slow either of them down too much. So that's exactly what the doctor ordered for Brad Benavides. But anyway, as this charge continues for Benavides now around the outside of Jack Crawford, and this could be a really nice move into turns 1 and into turn 2 now. Can Benavides get the move done around the outside? Looks like it. Good traction on the exit, and Crawford is still not giving this one up, but there might be more trouble brewing because more cars are trying to get involved. Kushmaini in the background, and don't forget the other little Red Bull car there of Dennis Hauger. But it looks like Benavides is going to be able to hold on ahead of Zane Maloney. So there's Red Bull cars going everywhere here. And yeah, looks like we've got a problem for Jane Deruvala, the Indian driver, slowing. And that is going to hand the lead to Brad Benavides. And that is really going to change things up in this race. Jane Deruvala, what a disaster, leading the race here, and it's going to record a DNF. Pulls up in exactly the same place as Rodasani. What a shame. Full send down the inside for us.
Okay, good work, great pass.
On Richard Verschoor, as we've finally decided it's time to go in this race. We're 9 laps in and we've just made our first overtake. It's really not been the race we wanted, but we just didn't have the pace. But now I think we do. I think we have better tyre wear than those around us. We've been looking after the tyres, just chilling out of the back.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
And yeah, all of a sudden at this phase of the race, we've managed to unlock a bit of pace. So yeah, that's the target for now. We'll just see if we can push our way forwards in the late stages of this one. But the pace is feeling pretty good at this point. As we continue on watching the battles further up the field, we've got Zane Maloney making the move on Jack Crawford. And Maloney might be able to steal second position here. The boy from Barbados with some pretty good pace at the moment. And here comes Kushmaini as well, our teammate, getting involved in this fight for the podium. Our teammate currently running in 4th position, so very close to that top 3. Is there going to be an opportunity? Down the inside goes Kushmaini on Maloney. And this might be a bit tight on the inside line, but good traction on the exit still for Kushmaini. And they're still going to keep this fight going side by side with Maloney all the way through the first sector. And Kushmaini gets the move done. Moves up into 3rd position. Maloney defensive, but no threat from the cars behind there. And Maloney holds on to P4. But that was a nice move by Kushmaini to take advantage of the 2 ahead scrapping away. Very well done to our teammate. We continue to push on.
Gaining on you by 5/10 a lap.
And we make a nice move down the inside of Amari Cordial and get that one done fairly easily as we continue to push on in the slipstream of the next car. And this is hopefully going to be a bit of an overtaking montage. It's Roman Stanek.
Lap on the car behind. Really good stuff.
Roman Stanek and the Czech driver now behind us with another turn 1 move. So these turn 1 overtakes are working well for us so far. Meanwhile, up the road, Kushmaini putting the pressure on Jack Crawford. Now looking for that move down the inside. Looks like he'll be able to get that one done. Crawford not quite giving up yet. So we could very well have a repeat of what we just saw in reverse order. Maloney could be the one trying to take advantage of our teammate fighting away with Jack Crawford. But side by side on the exit, here comes Maloney as well as they race up towards turn 3. Looks like Kushmaini's been able to make things work with the DRS as the inside line. But Crawford's still not giving up on the outside line, and they're going to continue to run side by side all the way through. And it looks like finally Kushmaini is going to get the drive traction on the exit of turn 4 and take that position, moving up into P2 for Kushmaini. It's been a very strong race for our teammates and showcasing some of that pace we really did see back in Bahrain. And well, that's a bit of a lock up there. and actually started to take some avoiding action just in case there, but no, it was just a lock up, no engine failures or any other nonsense going on there, and that's a bit snappy through there. And I didn't know it at the time, but the rear tyre temperatures were actually getting a little bit out of hand, which is what was causing that little snap of oversteer there, and a few others like it. But yeah, we continue to charge through the field. We've got plenty of pace, plenty of grip going at the moment, and it seems like we can make overtakes wherever we really want to around this circuit. And yeah, we are even into this right-hander before the castle section. We're able to make an overtake there with an aggressive dive to the inside. So yeah, we're really pushing on hard to try and get towards the points, try to get towards the top 10 in this race. We do have the fastest lap at the moment, so you know, we just need a couple more overtakes and we'll be there. Yeah, we're on target really. We just need to make you know, make use of all the overtaking opportunities we've got, and I think we might be able to get there.
Yellow flag.
Yellow flag is out, and that is for Jack Crawford. Says both of the drivers who start on the front row out of this race with mechanical dramas, and on board with myself now as we're approaching all of this chaos going on.
Okay,
Everyone's
flag,
pulling up.
red flag.
Red
No
flag is
overtaking,
out.
please.
We've got
We'll see you
damage,
in the pit lane.
contact with the Red Bull car in front. Goodness me. What happened there? Everyone just parked up into the S section. Here's the onboard looking rearward from Jack Crawford. A lot of smoke coming out the back of that car. He chops across in front of Zane Maloney. Goodness me, that was highly unnecessary. And still drives along the edge of the track. Eventually pulls off. He really could have pulled off at the well, the last real corner at the start of the third sector there, the sharp left-hander. But yeah, decided to carry on past this next apex. Here's the onboard with Zane Maloney was left with absolutely nowhere to go. Couldn't even continue on the left side because the rest of the field were going by, or at least a couple of cars, until the yellow flags stopped the others going by. But yeah, what a disaster. Then Maloney just sort of pulls up on the apex there, so I'm not sure what that was about. That one was a bit weird. But here's the onboard with Frederick Vesti, and you can see Vesti a little bit more time to react and is able to swing through. So that's a freebie for Frederick Vesti. Here's the onboard with Ollie Behrman, and Behrman gets through as well. So the two Pramers were the ones who were able to sneak through, as well as Clement Novalak. So there were a few that were able to get through on board with Dennis Hauger, and Hauger slots in behind Zane Maloney. And yeah, we ran into the back of Dennis Hauger there. Hauger into the back of Maloney. He's on board with the feature race pole sitter Ayumu Iwasa, and Iwasa manages to avoid any damage. You can see the momentum we carried into into the whole messy situation there compared to everyone else. So your reaction time's not quite as good as the AI, but yeah, on board with Teo Portier, you can see the same thing, how much speed we were carrying in there. We had nowhere to go. I picked the left-hand side. You know, there was an opening there. I probably could have gone more left, but ultimately I would have just run into Maloney instead of Hauger, I think. I don't think it made too much difference. One driver who won't be happy about this, though, is Brad Benavides, leading the race comfortably at this point, and has to suddenly slow down for those red flags. So, red flag session is
A free stop, so let's think very carefully about our strategy for the rest of this race.
session is suspended, but yeah, we haven't had a red flag yet. So in this game, so that's the first time we've had that little notification come up. That does bring the rain a little bit closer, but we've only got 3 laps left in this race, so the rain's still not going to come. But it's interesting to see that it's there, just looming. But yeah, it's not going to affect us in any way, shape or form. 3 laps to go in this race. We'll stick us out of Super Softs on to get us to the end of this one.
I know deja vu here, but there's a good opportunity to get this start spot on. Come on.
So let's see what we can do on the restart as it's lights out, and away we go for the second time here in Azerbaijan. And it's an alright start for us. Down the inside we go, and we'll see if we can make something work on the restart. I'm actually a little bit disappointed about this overall, because we had such nice pace going, and all of a sudden everyone's on equal tyres once more, so the tyre advantage we had is now gone. But on the plus side, we got a really nice restart. We're up into P11 now in this race, but everyone will be faster than our previous personal best lap, so we might need to get 8th position in this race in order to score points, unless we can somehow score a fastest lap. But we're in heavy traffic at the moment. You can see everyone scrapping away, so it's going to be difficult for us to go for a fastest lap from here. Replay of the start though, and we'll see how, or the restart I should say, and immediately the two Premers go wheel to wheel with Kush Miney, and Ollie Bearman is the one who sneaks through. Now it's Vesti versus Miney as Bearman covers into turn 2, and Bearman's obviously away and clear. What's going to happen here between Vesti and Miney as they run side by side up towards turn 3. No DRS of course on the restart lap as they run side by side, and looks like Vesti's carrying speed around the outside, pretty evenly matched on the exit. Vesti will just about get it covered, and Vesti moves up into 3rd position. Our teammates dropping the ball on the restart there, and dropping off the podium after holding a 2nd position quite nicely for a lot of this race, so hopefully he can get his act together and maybe try and take that position back, because we need all the points over Premer that we can. They're looking pretty strong after a lackluster first round. Premer will be a main contender in the team's championship, so we need to make sure we don't let them get away with this. But anyway, we'll carry on, and
Currently P11. Currently P11.
yeah, we need another position. And as we continue to watch on,
Benavides has just set the fastest.
Mark doesn't even have time to finish the radio sentence. Benavides with the fastest lap on the restart, and it's all in the middle sector. So Benavides has just set the fastest lap of the race from a standing start. My goodness, that is something. Wowee. A standing start to the fastest lap of the race. We have work to do if we want to beat that. So let's see what we can do as we carry on.
That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
We do actually
Okay,
go...
mate, final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home.
We do actually set the fastest lap as we are really piling the pressure on Arthur Leclerc here. So if we want this fastest lap to count for points, as we are grazing the barriers too, we are going to need to pass Arthur Leclerc. That is the target. It's not a points paying position, but if we can get into the top 10, we will get that bonus point. So here we go then, chasing down the Monegasque driver. Is there anything we can do to steal this fastest lap point away? And well, not steal it away, we've already got the fastest lap. We just need to get into the top 10 to be able to bank that point. So let's see what we can do. We're running out of opportunities very quickly here. If we make an overtake, it might have to be here right now. Huge dive down the inside, massive speed into the apex there. We barely get it turned in time to avoid the outside barrier, but we make the move on Arthur Leclerc as we head through the castle section for the final time. We're up into the top 10, and that fastest lap, if no one else beats it on this final lap, which is very possible that someone could go faster, we are potentially in the clear for 1 point at the end of this race. Meanwhile, out in front, Brad Benavides has led the way since the restart, but Ollie Bearman in 2nd position has DRS and is reasonably close. So is victory going to be cruelly snatched away from Brad Benavides once more, or will he have enough to hold on and take a victory for the PHM Biosharoos team as they race to the line? It's a drag race, slipstream and DRS for Ollie Bearman. Brad Benavides holding on with everything he's got. It's going to be side by side to the line, and Benavides holds on to take victory here in Azerbaijan. What a drive by Brad Benavides to take victory for the PHM team.
He has left them all behind. It's victory for Brad Benavides.
Well, that's one of the biggest strategic gambles you can make in a Formula 2 race. The late race pit stop really working out in the sprint.
It's time for those well-deserved celebrations. They may be one of the newer teams to join F2, but the Charouz team have shown they're a force to be reckoned with, taking home the victory. Well done to everyone on the team.
That is going to be a sweet victory for Brad Benavides, fighting to the end with Oliver Bearman. Frederik Vesti will take third position, making it a double podium for Prema.
It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
Alrighty then, let's take a little run through the finishing order of that race. Of course, we just saw the podium. Great win for Brad Benavides. That's huge for him and for the PHM team in the Teams Championship as well. But a double podium for Prema with Bearman ahead of Vesti, second and third. That's huge for them in the Teams Championship. And a big haul of points over the others in that Teams Championship fight. Kushmaini probably will be disappointed to drop to fourth after running second really in this race. And even worsely affected, yeah, sure, by that incident with Zane Maloney. We'll get to him in a moment, but Clement Novalak, Dennis Hauger, and then Zane Maloney all the way down in P7. Ayumu Iwasa rounding out the regular points scorers ahead of Taya Porcher and myself rounding out the top 10, and we did get that fastest lap point at the end there, so no one able to beat our fastest lap on that last lap. So we still lead the way in the championship by 26 points over Victor Martins, and then there's a three-way tie for third: Dennis Hauger, Frederik Vesti, and Ayumu Iwasa. 42 points for each of them, 28 points adrift, so only two behind Victor Martins. And then rounding out the major contenders is Oliver Bearman on 35 points adrift. So, yeah, that is that. Brad Benavides looking good, or looking better in the championship now after that result. Jumps up into 8th position. Also on, actually I didn't even realise there's 3 drivers tied on 35 points. I mentioned Oliver Bearman, but Daruvula and Benavides also on 35 points. So, yeah, it is looking good for them. Kushmaini is down in 13th in the standings, currently on 17 points. So, bit of work to do for our teammates. In terms of the Teams Championship, though, as I've referenced, that's really helped Prema, and they've jumped up into 2nd position in the Teams Championship fight, just 10 points behind us, and tied on points with the MP Motorsports team. So we still lead the way, but we're starting to come under pressure, and we really need Kushmaini to start hauling in some good points. And I think there will be a good chance of that in the next race. Dams are 4th in the Teams Championship, 15 points adrift, 16 points adrift for ART in 5th, so it really is a close fight across the top 5. 5 teams separated by 16 points. That is a very close Teams Championship fight. Anyway, that brings the sprint race portion of the weekend to a close. So we'll now turn our attention to the feature race, the big one, where the full Formula 1 points are awarded. So, yeah, without further ado, let us move on to that and see what we can achieve in the big one. Remembering, of course, that we will be starting from the back.
Baku never fails to disappoint fans of Formula 2, so hold on tight. The cars are set on the grid, and any moment we'll be starting today's race. Welcome to Azerbaijan. This is not your usual racing circuit. It provides one of the most complete tests for the field. Sector 1 sports a set of 90-degree corners, around the block if you like. Sector 2 gets even tighter with the old city walls. Sector 3 just turns 16 to negotiate, and then 2.2 kilometers, flat to the floor, full throttle, in 6th gear, all the way to the end. Here are the starting positions for today's race. Ayumu Iwasa lines up on pole position, and it's Dennis Hauger in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bearman, Novalak, Kushmaini, Vesti, Benavides, Maloney, Daruvula, Jack Crawford, Porcher, Correa, Isaac Hadjar, Arthur Leclerc, Doohan, Martins, Fittipaldi and Roy Nissany. Stanek, Cordial, Verschoor and Ralph Boschung completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track.
Try to put the starting position out of your mind and just focus on the race ahead. We can still do a good job here today.
Thank you, Mark. Right, so in terms of the strategy for this race, everyone is looking to start on that super soft compound, which means I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to start on the mediums, get them up to temperature on the warm-up lap. We've been through this whole process before. We'll get them up to temperature early, and hopefully we can be somewhat competitive on those tyres at the start of the race, and then we can finish the race strong on the super softs, get some overtaking done late in the day, go for a fastest lap, and hopefully bag that bonus point. So here we go then to the 5 red lights. Once again from the back of the field here, it's lights out and away we go for the feature race in Baku, and it's a decent start for us as we head into turn 1. We're just going to be very cautious though, and a lot of lockups in front, so that's why we're just being careful, because we're on the suboptimal tyres. We're not going to have the grip to run with these guys. That said, they will almost certainly have some laps on these super soft tyres, and that's another reason I decided to opt for this strategy, is because that crossover, will be a few laps earlier than what would normally be expected, to where our tyres will become faster than theirs. It won't be that far away, because whether they're either starting on their qualifying tyres or the tyres they did a few laps on in the sprint race, either way, it means we're going to, those tyres are going to have some laps on them, and there's no new sets of super soft tyres left. The only drivers, funnily enough, that will have any sets of new super softs. Ready to go?
Tyre condition still looking good.
Okay, just making sure we got through the start phase cleanly as we make the move down the inside. And side by side, we're not quite going to get this one done on Amaury Cordial. The only drivers who will have any fresh super soft tyres will be those who did not finish the first race. So Roy Nissany, Jane Deruvala and Jack Crawford will have fresh super softs. We'll be able to extend the first stint a little bit longer. We'll have fresher medium tyres to finish the race on, and we'll do a shorter stint on the mediums, so might be able to push a little bit harder in that second stint.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
So watch out for those three at the end of the race. Nissany, Deruvala and Crawford. They will be on a slightly different strategy, courtesy of having some better tyres. So off the start then, Ayumu Iwasa was pretty easily able to lead the way into turn 1 around the outside for one of the Prema cars there versus Dennis Hauger, but I think Hauger's going to hold on to that one. So a clean start for the Japanese driver, and he really needs this race to go exactly according to plan to capitalize on the chance of closing that championship margin. Anyway, as we carry on, we are tucked right in behind Amaury Cordial as we head onto the main straight. So let's see if we can make the move towards turn 1, getting a whole lot of slipstream as we sit right behind the Invicta Virtuosi car. Losing a little bit of straight line speed there actually as we head towards turn 1.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
But a nice easy move down the inside sees us go ahead of the Belgian driver, and a lock up there, but not going to phase us as we're trying to chase down the next driver in the pack. And as we head into the castle section, down the inside into the right-hander, and that was from a long way back.
No rain expected for the time being.
Not quite what I wanted to ask, but good to know. I was just wanting to I was in such a rush to try and ask the engineer about the
tyre
car,
condition still looking good.
which is in good condition, so no damage from that move. Always worry when I make those late moves that there might be a bit of contact even if we don't necessarily see it, but we got away with it on that occasion, and now we are really starting to hassle and hurry this entire group of cars. We're forging our way through it pretty quickly actually as we make the move on Roman Stanek, and next up is Victor Martins, who's gone nowhere in this race. So Victor Martins just struggling for pace really, not putting much pressure on the group ahead. So we make the move down the inside.
Nice overtake.
And the driver that was second in the championship before this weekend is really struggling. And it's a common theme really throughout this season. Quite often we see, drivers, up the top one weekend and then down in the middle of nowhere the next. But we've got a great little battle playing out in front of us here between Roy Nissany and Enzo Fittipaldi. We'll make the move to the outside, or this will become the inside for the next left-hander. And we're going to go 3 wide. We'll pick the middle between Nissany and Fittipaldi, and we'll make this one work, squeezing through the gap. Here's the onboard with Enzo Fittipaldi, and we're just so much later on the brakes, and lucky we were, because I was very cheeky. We barely had the room to make that work, but it did work, and that's the most important thing. As we continue the charge, we go for the move down the inside of Jack Doohan, get it nice and sideways on the exit. Jack Doohan gets a nice little switchback going there, and this fight is going to continue into turn 2. Hopefully we can just carry the momentum around the outside here, but again, it's those rear tyre temperatures just getting a little bit out of hand, which is why we had that snap of oversteer on the exit. But,
okay, good work, great pass.
That was a nice move there on Arthur Leclerc, same place we did in race 1, but sort of at the opposite end of the race. We're still in the very early phases here, so funnily enough, we've actually got better pace relative to everyone else in this race than what we did in the first one, despite being on a harder compound. Such are the tyre struggles that I think everyone else is going through at the moment. And look at that move on Isaac Hadjar. That was very spontaneous, just so much speed we can carry into the apex compared to everyone else. And it's to the point where we actually have to think about the move, and we pull out of it, of course. But the fact we were even looking for a move into the castle section just shows how much grip we have, how much speed we could carry through the previous right-hander to get that run. You're never going to get through there side by side, so I decided not to risk it. But we very well could have poked the nose in there and made an overtake, but I decided to not put Porchera in the fence, and yeah, just wait until the main straight. But yeah, it's ridiculous how much speed we have.
The car behind is dropping back. We're seeing a gap starting to form.
Down the inside of Teo Porcher, and a little snap of oversteer as we're still struggling with those rear tyre temps. But yeah, we're going to have a bit of an overtaking montage because there's a move nice and easy on Juan Manuel Correa.
Kush in the pits.
And now the others start to make their pit stops. Kush Maini, our teammate, Brad Benavides going in, and we're just stealing a little bit of slipstream as we were going through there. But yeah, we are absolutely flying at this stage of the race as we make the move around the outside of Zane Maloney, and we'll move ourselves up. We're essentially into the sort of points range now. I think it's going to be hard to tell until we make our stop and find out where we re-emerge later in the race, as we have a bit of a moment through turn 1 there. But with everyone else cycling through the pits, and you can see Crawford and Darubala going a little bit longer than everyone else as suspected, so they'll be pacey towards the end with some slightly fresher tyres, so we'll have to watch out for them. But yeah, we are looking good at this phase of the race. We've taken the lead as Amaury Cordial retires from the race with a mechanical failure, so that's unfortunate for Amaury Cordial. And Roy Nissany also retires from the race with a mechanical failure, so yeah, unfortunate. A double mechanical failure weekend for Roy Nissany. So PHM victory for one car, double DNF for the other. Meanwhile, Ayumu Iwasa makes the move on us in a straight line very easily there. There's no defense we could offer towards turn 1. He defends slightly, but not going to make a difference.
We're approaching the pit window, and we're going to put you onto super softs.
We're about to make our pit stop in a couple of laps time anyway. But yeah, we are really starting to struggle for pace at the back end of this stint versus the others who are all on fresh tyres. Jane Darubala makes a move on Kush Maini, knocks our teammate off the effective podium unfortunately, so yeah, it could be a pair of 4th placings for our teammate. It all, of course, partially, I guess, depends on where we re-emerge and how far up the field we can get.
Okay, we've got a full course caution.
Safety car is out. Just as we enter pit lane, it's a mechanical failure for Zane Maloney that's caused it. And that could not have been timed any better than it was. Just as we crossed the pit entry line, the safety car is out. Jack Doohan got involved in it as well. I think Maloney chopped across a bit aggressively there. A bit like what we saw with Crawford and Maloney, but even more so. Here's the onboard with Doohan, and whack! Straight into the back of the Red Bull liveried car of Zane Maloney. The boy from Barbados is out. Jack Doohan with front wing damage. We go into the pits then to get our set of super soft tyres on for the end of the race.
Okay, mate, that's it. Go, go, go. Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that.
And just like the others, ours will have some laps on them, but you know, cars lighter at the end of the race, less fuel in, as we see Jack Doohan come in for a front wing change and a fresh set of boots as well. So Jack Doohan, he'll definitely be running out of tyres at this phase of the weekend, but anyway, it's
that was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
You know, you use your best worst tyres at this point, I suppose. But
right, drop your speed. Our delta's too low, and we're going to risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Anyway, we come out of pit lane.
Okay, overtake the safety car.
We come out of pit lane in P14, so we've got good track position, reasonably new super soft tyres compared to everyone else's mediums, so we have no excuses. We should have some lightning pace, and we should be able to forge our way into the points. And even by the end of the race, we should only be right on the crossover between the two different compounds, so in theory we should have the pace right up until the closing laps. So it now falls to Ayumu Iwasa to determine the safety car restart. When will the Japanese driver choose to get this race back underway? It's a big slipstream to dish out all the way up towards turn 1 here, so he might leave it late, but Ayumu Iwasa gets the race going once more, and we're back underway here in Azerbaijan. He's actually done it relatively early. Is there going to be an opportunity for anyone behind? It doesn't look like it. Kushmani a little bit on the inside line looking to defend there, but holds on to position. Meanwhile, we sliced in between Teo Porcher and Fittipaldi there, and that's 2 positions already for us on this restart. Next up in front of us, it is Isaac Hadjar, so let's see if we can make a move on the Frenchman as we're thinking about the move, looking high and low here, just wafting around. We'll make the move to the inside, and we'll make that move stick. We're up into P11 now, and we will be very quickly turning that into a top 10 down the inside, and that's a move on Juan Manuel Correa. We're into the points now.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
And we still have plenty of grip to spare. Once again, we're in that position. We can make overtakes wherever we want. We've got grip everywhere here around this circuit, and hopefully we can also get a fastest lap point as well, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Next up, it's the sprint race winner Brad Benavides in front of us, and looks like we're going to be close enough to make the move in towards turn 1. He's defending a little bit as we're into the top 10, and now down the inside of Brad Benavides. We move ourselves up from a top 10 to a top 9 with that overtake. So a nice clean move there as we continue to push on. Next up in front of us is Jack Crawford, and not really showing the pace I might have expected, having you know, an improved tyre bank for this race for Jack Crawford. Hasn't quite gone as well for Crawford.
To catch the car in front, but we need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop.
As it has with Jane Deruva, of course, we saw overtaking our teammate earlier on. But as we continue to push on, overtakes come thick and fast.
No issues with tyre wear for now.
And that's a move on Clement Novalak.
That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Fastest lap of the race as we slide down the inside of Frederick Vesti there. So now we're in amongst the Pramers, and in fact with
second a lap on the car behind. Really good stuff.
Kushmani ahead of the Pramers as well as we get down the inside of Behrman. This is going to be good for us in the team's championship. Both of our cars in the top 5. Kushmani doesn't make it too difficult for us. We make the move down the inside into turn 3, and we're up into 4th position. But we're on the second last lap of the race now, and I can tell that these tyres are just starting to fade a little bit. So as we begin the final lap of the race, we really need to push for all we're worth if we want to catch this top 3. Over the rest of that lap, we didn't really close into Daruvala, who sits in 3rd position, and the top 3 are all right on top of each other. Ayumu Iwasa, back to Dennis Hauger and Jane Daruvala. There is nothing between this trio as they head into turn 3. A lock up for Iwasa. He goes a bit wide. Hauger almost had the door open there, but Iwasa manages to hold on and maintain this race lead. But there is nothing between this lot. Yumu Iwasa is going to have to hold them off all the way to the end. But that little mistake held up the queue just slightly, and we've just inched closer in that phase, so maybe there's a chance, but we are going to need to throw caution to the wind through the castle section. I'm typically, on the more cautious side through this sequence of corners, but we are going to need to throw it through here over the curbs into the left-hander. Taking a bunch of that inside curb gives us, well, maybe not even a great exit, but just carrying the speed through there and shortening the line has definitely paid dividends, because we are right behind Jane Daruvala, and we're going to take a super aggressive line through the most awkward corner of motorsport, and now to the inside, to the outside of Jane Daruvala, into the final real corner, around the outside of the Indian driver, a slide on the exit, but we get the move done as we run side by side on the exit, all the way up to the S's, and now we're going to get through. Daruvala backs out, and that's 3rd position for us at the end of this race. And a huge comeback drive, perfect timing of the safety car has led us up into 3rd position. But up the road, it is domination for Ayumu Iwasa, who takes the feature race victory here in Azerbaijan. Kushmaini gets past Daruvala on the line to take 4th position. Great effort for our teammate there. On the line, Daruvala really got a bad run out of the final corner. Kushmaini was able to sneak through. What a finish for our teammates. Awesome stuff. But it's P3 for us.
Race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
A podium after starting at the back. That's not too bad. Goodness me. Driver of the day as well, of course, at the end of that one.
Ayumu Iwasa takes the checkered flag to win.
Have you seen one quite as dominant as that, Jakesy? I'm not sure I have. They led every single lap of that one, lights to flag.
And I can see our drivers making their way out now. It's been a sublime team performance, and it's the culmination of a lot of hard work. Dams are your winners today.
What a race for Ayumu Iwasa. 25 points will do no harm to his championship hopes. 2nd place for Dennis Hauger, while a perfectly timed safety car gave us the chance to fight for 3rd.
And after all that excitement, I think it's time for a lie down. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
Alrighty then, let's have a little run through the finishing order. As always, we've got Iwasa ahead of Dennis Hauger, myself, then a great result for the team, 3rd and 4th for us here at Campos, with Kushmaini taking P4 ahead of his fellow Indian driver, Jane Daruvala taking P5, P6 and 7 for the Premers of Behrman and Vesti, and then a bit further back, Clement Novalak, Jack Crawford and Juan Manuel Correa rounding out the points scorers. So yeah, let's take a little look now at the drivers' standings. We're in the championship lead there. Iwasa now 19 points behind us after that race win, and Dennis Hauger a little bit further back, 26 points adrift. And then the last of the real contenders, I would say at this point, is probably Vesti. You can score up to 39 points in a round. Vesti is 38 points behind us. So yeah, we'll call it a race of 4 for now, but keep in mind, Jane Daruvala, Victor Martins and Ollie Behrman are all just a couple of points behind Vesti, so that could all change it very, very quickly. And even even Brad Benavides, after that amazing sprint race, is not too bad in the overall points as well. 35 points. What is that? 8 points behind Ollie Behrman. So a few more good results for Benavides, and he might be in amongst the fight. But anyway, in terms of the Teams Championship, we lead the way there. Still 10 points ahead of MP Motorsport. We had Hauger in front of us on track, and then we had what's his name, De Ruvela, 1 place behind Kushmaini. So there really was not a lot to separate us. I think they may have gained 1 point, not sure. Actually no, because we got the fastest lap, so we would have literally scored even points with MP Motorsport. So that's why that gap has remained at 10 points. So yeah, that was it's going to be very close between us if De Ruvela and Hauger keep up that pace throughout the season. We're really going to need Kushmaini up there as well more often. But this was a good weekend for our teammate. But Dams are next in the queue, 18 points adrift, so Wasa scoring some big points for them. Leclerc, not so much this weekend. A little bit further back, Prema are 24 points adrift now, after we outscored them fairly convincingly in this one. And then next is ART. They've dropped quite a way back, 44 points adrift now for ART. And then, yeah, they're definitely the last of the contenders, because next would be PHM. They are 80 points adrift, having scored just 35. So still a 5-horse race in the Teams Championship, but ART dropping off the back a little bit. But anyway, that is going to do it for this one, so I will say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Please feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It's always very helpful. And other than that, I will see you in the next one, and goodbye.